Okay. So, hi for the recording. I'm Sean, Librarian Writer Geek. Things, places, whatever. Okay, for the recording, for posterity's sake, I suppose. Uh, Dragon Age doesn't seem to want to work at the moment. I'm not sure why. I don't feel like trying to run another video game. It's I don't exactly have any other games that I'm really up for playing at the moment, so we're gonna do something else. Okay. So we're gonna do something else, something I haven't done in a while. We're gonna look at a tabletop RPG. Why not? So, a little background. A while back, and okay, I'm sorry. I want to double check my. Oh, hello. Okay, cool. All right, so a while back, this like at least over 6 months ago, probably pushing a year ago, or somewhere around there. I did a look at Kobold, did kind of a little flip through whatever of Kobold Press's Tales of the Valiant, or Project Black Flag, which then kind of morphed into Tales of the Valiant. Anyway, this was Kobold Press's response to the whole OGL thing that happened at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. If you're not in the tabletop role-playing space, basically Wizards of the Coast kind of tried to do pull some shenanigans with the open games license, which is kind of what a lot of people, including like independent, a lot of people creating content for Dungeons and Dragons and that stuff, kind of rely on that license. So, they were going to be putting out a much more restrictive license and whatnot, and a lot of people weren't happy about it. Wizards eventually backed down. I don't think they're keeping it. I don't know. And of course, all of this also happened as Wizards of the Coast is kind of trying to hype up the release of, the D&D Next and whatnot. So it's like, and putting out test material for that. It's like, okay, you guys really messed up here. But anyway, several companies, including Kobold Press, who's made a lot of 5e supplements, decided that they were going to respond by, creating their own games. And Kobold Press eventually has, I backed the Kickstarter for their game, and I took, when they released, I think it was the alpha version, or the beta version, whatever. Some version of their rules set, like a couple months late after their Kickstarter, I think. Shortly after their Kickstarter, anyway. Or maybe, during their Kickstarter? I don't know. I don't remember the exact timeline because it was a while ago, but anyway, they put that out, and I did a little flip through it and looked at this stuff and was like, okay, this looks kind of cool and whatnot. Some problems I had, some concerns I have, that's the kind of thing. But not too long ago, they finally released the actual final rules. And I think maybe some people have been talking about it. I don't know. No, if not, whatever. This is just going to be my thoughts, my opinions. Haven't done an extensive flip through, but I've done my little poke around with it. See how maybe played around with it a little bit. And yeah, so figure what the heck. Let's take a look at that because Dragon Age doesn't want to play nice. Anyway, All right. So, okie dokie. So here we have the cover, which I am going to note something, and this is something I recently watched. I actually just watched a video from another YouTuber who does tabletop discussions. Super Geek Mike, I believe is the name of his channel, and he did a whole thing recently talking about players guide covers. And I'm not. This is a really nice piece of artwork. I'm not going to say that, but it does kind of fall into what he described as like the D&D cover trap, which is namely, okay, we have two characters. One of them is maybe kind of a martial character. One of them is some kind of a spellcaster, and that's kind of it. I mean, if there's a monster or whatever, that's cool and all, but it does kind of lack the implication of like, oh right, this is a game you get there and play with your friends. So, and I think he was bringing this up in comparison to, say, some other earlier different editions where it's like, okay, right, we have multiple characters on the cover to give that impression of like, yes, you could play any number of these characters, not just two of them. But just something I'm only really noticing now. But anyway, I do like this artwork. Other than that it is kind of a does set some things up, or it does look kind of nice and interesting, especially when you compare it to the Monster Vault book, which is basically like, here's what happens about 5 minutes later. Anyway, okay. Yeah, we'll get some art. Yeah, credits, table of content, and of course we have to have the special edition. I do appreciate that they included what's the word? Descriptive text, whatever, for pretty much all the art. Because as one of the things I did learn from the publish module, whatever, in X amount of time, learning to going through a little program thing to teach people how to, here's a general easy way, step process, whatever, to publish your own tabletop gaming content. And it's like, hey, something that might be nice to do is to include descriptive texts for your artwork, because that's good for people who use screen readers and whatnot, because might not be a bad idea. Yeah, so it's really cool that Kobold Press decided to do that. And yeah, we got anyway. Okay, we got various classes. Yeah, it is neat. It's neat, and it's very considerate of them. Okay, so after describing a whole bunch of different details about classes, we have a whole list of classes. I actually counted. I think there's 13 classes in this book, because they've got the 12 from D&D plus their new special mechanist class, which I haven't dug into, but it looks kind of interesting. We still have the lineage heritage. There's a lot more than there were in the last time, because that was just early playtest material. I think there were 4 lineages, and I think maybe 8 heritages, 2 for each of the lineages. Couple backgrounds, talents, aka feats, and Something that I think is really nice of them, really nice, good thing that Kobold Press did. They decided here, you know, in addition to including the general equipment, they also included the magic items in the player's guide. Which I think that's a really good idea because that's who's going to need this information. That's who's going to most want this information. Fifth edition put all the magic items and all that stuff in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and while I get that from the perspective of like, okay, the DM needs to know, what it is, what it does, devising rewards and whatnot, but it's like, okay, but the players are the ones who are going to use it. So, playing the game. Got some lovely artwork of some of the new and interesting creatures Kobold Press decided to introduce in their game. And a whole bunch of other stuff. Got the requisite chapter plus on magic and appendices and other things. So, moving on. Alright, my glasses are kind of being weird because I need new ones, but they're so dirty. They get so dirty so easily. There's little spots and scratches and stuff right where my pupils go. Anyway, I don't know. Requisite. Here's what is a role-playing game? What is role-playing game? What is this? You have never. Okay, I do appreciate. Hey, we included a little bit about safety tools. That's a good thing to include, just in general. And all right, character creation. And I don't know if we're going to go through this. Maybe we can do that another time. All right, obviously, yes. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Again, I do find it very interesting, but not necessarily unreasonable, but I do kind of like that they go with, okay, pick your class first. Because the class is probably the most important part. Everything else is potentially will slot in there. I'm a little iffy on putting... I suppose ability scores after that is a reasonable thing to do, because then it's like, okay, you know what class you're going to play, so now you know where to assign your different ability scores. Once again, we have the multiple ways of determining ability scores. Of course, there is the classic rolling, the point buy if you are very into doing math, or if you're just really lazy, there is the standard array, which again, I kind of like that it's a little beefier than the one in 5th edition. But I feel like that is kind of balanced out by the fact that I don't believe there is no way to get any bonuses to your ability scores at character creation. Like, I think there might be some feat talent stuff, but who knows. Blah, blah, blah. Modifiers, pick a lineage and heritage, which are, we split race into two things, we split race into lineage, into two things. We have lineage, which is the biological stuff, and heritage, which is like where you grew up. Okay, that's handy to have this table right here. I didn't even realize that start at higher levels was this early on. That's very handy to have that, because yeah, sometimes you look for that and it's like hidden away somewhere. Let's see. Okay, right. lineage, heritage, which is where'd you grow up, background, background is background, and, equipment. Equipment, okay. Class and background equipment, okay. Sure. I'm not a fan of starting wealth. I understand it. And I understand if people like it, but I don't know. For me, it's like, okay, you're adding. I just want to get started, so just give me a list, and I will pick options from the list. All right. Other stuff, yada yada yada. Experience leveling up, multi-classing. And of course, we have the various prerequisites, which are, okay, you want to have you need to have at least a 13 and whatever, which kind of makes like, okay, cool, that makes... I won't say it makes sense, but it's like, okay, right, you need to have at least a +1 in whatever the primary ability score for the class is in order to switch into that class. Or start taking levels in that class, because I accept that. That seems reasonable. Alright, yada 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 yada. Okay, yeah, sure. I guess explaining basics of different class features, or at this point, is handy. Spell slots, yada yada yada. Okay, here. Oh, right. Multi-class spellcasting stuff. Oh, that's... Yeah, Admittedly, I almost never play. I'm a forever DM at this point. But, like... Yeah, I would, even when I do play, I never multi-class into a caster, because that's just like, this is no, I don't want to do it. And of course, here's a picture of the character sheet with all the stuff laid out. They did change some things in during the development process, like. I think originally, like the passive insight, investigation, perception, those went down along this way as opposed to going across. I don't remember them having three things for speed, which, admittedly is kind of useful to have if your character has like, there's some single class builds, but just let me narrowly tailor things so I don't have to think, yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to multi-classing, but it is like, I don't want to, especially like multi-classing into like a high-powered caster is just like, no, this is too much. This is too much work. Don't make me think about this. This is hard. And the spell slot. Sheet. Alright, so finally, classes. Yay. Alright, we got the lovely chart of, okay, here's a quick rundown of all the different classes. Here's a quick one-sentence description of what it is and what they do, what they're like. Hit die comparison, whatever their key abilities are. Most of them are 1, but you can see a couple of them are 2. Well, 3 of them have 2 key abilities. 1 of them has pick 1. Save proficiencies, equipment proficiencies. That's handy information to have at a glance if you're not sure if this is your first time playing this kind of game, which admittedly probably wouldn't happen to me, but hey, not going to say it's impossible. Spellcast stuff. All right, moving on. Oh, here's something fun. So, right, something Tales of the Valiant did early on, I think, was I actually appreciate is, specifying a magic source for different spellcasters. Because I like this because there are a number of classes are like it's pretty clear how this works. Like okay, I understand. Yes, wizard, sorcerer. Okay, those are arcane. I understand. Yeah, cleric, paladin. Sure, that's divine. But you have other things like okay, well, where does because I feel like magic source that kind of encapsulates like okay, how does this class, its spellcasting class, interact with its magic? How does it relate to that? Like, because okay, we have yes, clerics pray to a deity and receive spells that way. Wizards read and learn things and flip through books. But okay, how does a bard relate to their magic? How does their magic work? Because especially in like in D&D, it's like okay, yeah, bards have spells, but their spells are kind of a mix of their spells kind of appear on multiple. They share a number of spells with different classes, and it's like okay, well, but which is like okay, are you like why is it like okay, why is it the bard can have healing spells but wizards don't, that kind of thing. So but I do appreciate saying like okay, bards are arcane casters, and I do also appreciate saying like okay, druids and rangers are primordial, their magic is primordial as opposed to divine, even though there's probably sharing of a number of spells between the two lists, but still. And yeah, specifying like right, paladin, right? I do find it interesting that warlock has their own special magic source, which is just called weird, and I kind of like that. And going okay, right? These classes prepare spells. They're okay, so like only the three casters actually prepare spells. The rest do not get to prepare spells. Yeah, yeah. Warlocks are weird. Go figure. All right. Anyway, all right, I don't listen, Warlocks, man. Don't even. I look. Warlock is my class. That was like one of my first characters. My favorite character was a warlock. Was a tiefling warlock, and like I loved it. I love that guy. I love what I got to do with him. So, but anyway. All right. So yeah, obviously starting off barbarian, standard classic barbarian. I like that we went with the I think this is one of the beastkin, I think. So yeah, I like that. It's like yeah, barbarian is literally a bear. Barbarian. Maybe. Don't tell me I said that. I'm gonna be just mortified. Anyway. Right. Yeah, and I will say, from just kind of glancing through, it's like yeah, a lot of this stuff really is just yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so again, most of this stuff is, if you played 5th edition, most of this stuff hasn't necessarily changed a lot. Let's see, I do think they did tweak some things though, and admittedly I haven't done a ton, like a deep dive on this, but like okay, I think they have tweaked some of the subclasses. So I know in 5th edition, the Berserker Barbarian, it's like, okay, you can go into a frenzy, and I don't know if that costs another use of rage. I've seen it done that way. I've seen it not done that way. I'm not entirely sure which one, how it technically is supposed to work. But I do, and it does give you the same benefit of, okay, now you can make weapon attack as a bonus action, which is very handy, especially if you haven't hit 5th level yet, when you get multi-attack. But I'm pretty sure I know for a fact that in 5e, if you frenzy rage, after that it's like you gain a level of exhaustion, which is like, that kind of sucks. Why are you? This is like, I specifically picked this subclass. Why are you punishing me for using one of its features? So they seem to have removed that for this, which is nice. It's like, don't punish players for for using your mechanics. And additionally, hey, wow, you gain proficiency with intimidation, or it's not ideal, and I kind of get it in the sense of like, okay, yeah, you're getting a bonus, you're getting a special thing, so maybe we have to balance that out by not letting you do something else. But at the same time, it's like, well, especially with later barbarians, it's like, okay, now I have no reason to take this class because there are so many other options, and none of them punish me for using the features of this subclass. Anyway, and of course, we have the animal, they call it Wild Fury, barbarian, which is, hey, you get some animal stuff. And I do like that, I think it's like different animals each time you get a new feature, and it's a much more interesting selection of animals. Like, okay, sure, alligator. Sure, alligator. You can grapple and restrain creatures. That's cool. Bear, give you temporary hit points while raging every round. Tiger, let you dash. And then Toad. I don't know why they went with Toad, but hey, wow, that's like, it's like, wait a minute, this is the option that everyone would pick. I swear. Anytime you had in 5e, you had the Totem Barbarian, they all go with the one that's like, okay, cool, let me have the one that gives me resistance to all damage types. It's like, I don't know, I guess the folks at Kobold Press went, alright, sure, we'll let you do that, but now instead of being an awesome bear, you're a Toad Barbarian. It's like, is that to encourage them to look at other options? Maybe. Okay, moving on. Bard. Okay, those are some very interesting hairy feet right there. Okay, that's that. Bards. Okay, so I know bards are actually interesting because, kid's bedtime. All right, well, say goodnight to kid, whichever one of the kids it is. Let's see. So, but moving on. Let me see. I think, bards are one of the classes that actually get rituals, which are a whole other thing we might get to. And I know, Yeah. Okay, so yeah, bards are actually weird, are even. So even though we defined the bards as arcane casters, we still have to make them kind of odd. So. Okay, oh, this is ritual. Is this rituals? Just rituals? Or is this also spells? Okay, maybe that comes later? Okay, so yeah. So yeah, bards can actually pick rituals from any spell list, which is kind of cool, kind of interesting. I guess it's a way to make them still kind of odd and different, and with how magic works for them. Yes. Moving on. Let's see. I think. Right. Bardic Performance is. Yeah, I think is that. I see. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. This is a way to basically maybe shift bards back into more of the battlefield minstrel singer whatever type thing. Have them do that while on mechanically flavor wise whatever. So let's see. See, I don't. Yeah, they no longer get. Yeah, they don't get Song of Rest anymore, but instead they can now do a thing. Maybe this Celebrate Life, which is cool. Yeah, spend a hit die and heal with that in the middle of combat. And now all bards get cutting words, which is nice. That's fair. And another option at 6th level. As within 30 feet can't be charmed or have advantage. Right, yeah, this is the counter song thing. That's neat. Need to bring that back. And. Right, okay, so Magical Secrets is also. I want to say in 5e that was a lore bard thing. So now it's just a regular bard thing, so that's kind of cool. Like, right, all bards can just at levels 9, 13, and 18, they just get to go, okay, cool, I'm going to pick 2 spells from another spell list and treat them as, spells I can cast. I can just cast these now. Ha ha ha. Okay. I hadn't seen this. The creature adds a bardic inspiration dice to ability check, attack roll, save, and the roll fails. The die isn't lost. It can be used again. That's nice. I have to pick one. Or when bardic inspiration die successfully deals damage with an attack, they can expend the roll die to deal additional damage equal to the result. Neat. So again, we're incorporating elements that were in the Lore and Valor Bard into the base class, so that's kind of cool. Right, okay, so Lore Bard gets another Bardic Performance thing. Ability checks. Okay, give advantage on one set of ability checks. Pick new set of talent. Get access to a different to 2 talent lists, which is a lot of subclasses that do that, or a lot for different classes. And have provision. Okay, okay, Lore Bard now gets Jack of all trades as opposed to it being just a regular Bard thing. That's interesting. And Valor Bard. Let's see about Valor Bard. Performance feature as a part of each bonus action spent maintaining it. You can command up to 3 willing allies hear or see you to use their reaction to move up to half their speed. Movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Nice. Proficiency with medium armor, shields, and a martial weapon. Expanded talent list. Okay, you get access to martial. Either martial or technical lists. Okay, whereas this one is just get access to the technical list. That's interesting. Alright. Okay, and Alright, Cleric. Cleric is Cleric. So one thing I understand, I kind of have some mixed feelings about this. But for a number of reasons, I like this decision, like a certain decision I'm about to talk about, but I can understand not liking it, and that is that clerics, or I think they did adjust it, shift things so that all classes now pick their subclass at level 3. Which, for most classes, that's fine, but then you get stuff like, you get some of them where it's like, you know, Cleric, and it's like, okay, but so now I'm not getting access to all that stuff until 3rd level, but some of it's, you know, that doesn't make sense. That seems kind of dumb. But then, you know, some of that's the main things where I think that would be of importance is, you know, do I get proficiency with heavy armor and martial weapons? And that's actually taken up by this this new thing, Manifestation of Faith, which is basically like, okay, cool. Do you want to be a cleric that hits things with a weapon, or that, you know, can serve as a frontliner, or do you want to be in the back chucking spells more? So I kind of like that. I feel like 5th edition kind of did a number of cleric domains dirty by pretty much saying, like, okay, it's like, okay, there's a handful of domains that get access to, like, heavy armor and or martial weapons. Or, actually, no. There's a handful that get access to heavy armor. A few of those also can use martial weapons. And so those are the ones people go for, even when it's like, okay, but it would make, you know, I like the spell or spell list or the flavor of this other cleric domain. So I kind of like that this now removes that, you know, and also, you know, it, you know, I will fully admit that, yeah, clerics being able to serve as at least second line fighters is really kind of a key part of the class. But, you know, this is at least kind of trying to make more spellcasting focused clerics a viable option. Because, you know, I feel like you don't see a lot of that. You know, you don't see the clerics maybe standing more in the back providing magical assistance. Anyway, Yes, obviously clerics have to pick a god. Ooh. Ooh. Excuse me. I do like that the channel divinity turn the profane. I like that. I like that it also that it affects undead and fiends, because you know, just to add that little extra bit of utility. And to it and such. Yada yada yada. Destroy profane. Huh. Yeah, again, I didn't actually do a close read through of a lot of this stuff, so yeah, some of this I'm just seeing for the first time. Moving on, domains. I think they only provide 3 domains in this book, in the core book player's guide. Hopefully, there will eventually be more, but also I think there is Kobold Press did release a conversion guide from 5th edition, so it's not too difficult or awkward. Wouldn't be too difficult or awkward. It shouldn't be too difficult or awkward to convert from 5th edition to Tales of the Valiant / Black Flag. Okay, anyway, obviously, domains. Life domain. Classic, standard. Standard. It literally comes with the SR. It's literally the free SRD version. It's like, you know, hey, wow, you're the healer. Here, be an even better healer. Right, hit points among them can restore a creature no more than half its maximum. Blah blah blah. Life domain spells. What domain wasn't listed for my god? Okay, here's a handy little note saying, like, you know, deities are complicated. So, like, you know, if you don't have to restrict yourself to just whatever domain are listed for your chosen deity. You can just say, hey, I'm a weird, I'm a weird disciple of this particular god. Whatever. Right. Okay. Light domain. I'm kinda. I can sort of see why including light domain is not nice, only because I think this. Let's see. That's channel divinity and view light. Light and dancing lights, if you don't already know them. Dancing lights no longer requires concentration. Count it divine spells. Don't count against your cantrips known. That's nice. Overwhelming flash. There we go. Sorry, I feel like there's something in my eye. Anyway. Creature within 10 feet of you makes an attack roll. Use your reaction to create a brilliant flash of divine light. Suffers a penalty to the attack roll. Yeah, nice. Yes. I kind of feel like of the cleric, light might be the most spellcasty option. The non-healing spellcaster cleric domain. Maybe I'm just being weird. I don't know. I say this because, light in 5e does not get any kind of bonus. It doesn't get any bonus proficiencies. They just get a free cantrip and some stuff that's actually kind of useful. Anyway, and of course, we have to have the war domain, which let's see. So starting like this. Okay, channel a Mark of Triumph here. All creatures who attack a marked creature have advantage on the first attack roll they make against it until the start of your next turn. That's nice. That's nice. I feel like that's... And let's see. Disciples of War. Victory. Da, 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 da. Once a turn, when you successfully hit a creature with an attack while using attack action, you can choose to make an additional weapon attack as part of the same action. Okay. See, I feel like that's generally underused because, like, Admittedly, I'm kind of hesitant on all the proficiency bonus based usage stuff because, like, okay, I don't get this a lot, so I don't know if I want to use it. Anyway, moving on to druids. Yeah, I don't think there's any. Yeah, I don't think they don't seem to have any stated restriction on material for shield, because I know, like, in 5e they do specify, like, right, it has to be a wooden shield. It's like, and that's just like, that's weird. Why? Blah blah blah. Okay. Right. Okay. Nature's Gift. Okay. Sometimes ambient. As a bonus action, choose a creature within 5 feet of you. When you do so, roll a number of d4s equal to your proficiency bonus. They regain hit points equal to total rolled. Nice. Used a number of times equal to proficiency bonus. Okay. So, yeah. So this is something, that's another thing I kind of don't like in 5e. At least, I feel like in general, it's like with druids, the focus always seems to be, at least, you know, in the player's handbook, maybe a little less so as it was developed. You know, like, right, people picked druid because they want, you know, people play druid and it's like, okay, you need to be doing wild shape all the time. You need to pick moon druid because then your wild shape is even better. And it's like, okay, I get that, but also, you know, druids are spellcasters. They can cast spells. People don't want to lean into the spellcasting aspect of druids, and that's kind of weird. But anyway, druids can potentially also serve as healers. So I like this this Nature's Gift thing just has a little bit of extra healing that only druids can do. Oh boy. Rules for wild shaping. You start with 2 effects: beast form and draw power. Okay, that's neat. Use wild shape feature. Yes, I can use it once until you finish a short or long rest, then twice between rests at 6, 3 times at 13, and 4 times at 18. Okay. Sure. Let me see. Beast form. Form of beast. 2 beasts from challenge rating 1/4 or less as your known forms. Okay. I like that. I know this is gonna. I know I'm kind of weird. I do appreciate putting a limit on if you're gonna do the beast form, wild shape, whatever, turn into an animal. I do like saying, okay, no, you get this many options and no more. Or, you know, or you can learn more, but there's limits. You can't. So, yeah, you can't just grab, like, I'm sorry, I saw people complaining, like, when they released for the D&D Next or whatever, or one D&D. I meant D&D Next. That was the 5th edition playtest stuff. One D&D. You know, they were releasing that stuff, and people getting really, really mad that like they had potentially changed how druids work. And I'm just going like, look, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Valerie. You came back, and I kind of you're responding to something I'm not, and I didn't miss where you were responding to. But yeah. Anyway, I know people were upset about. Okay. Oh, the name for the D&D things. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. No. So yeah, one D&D is what they're is the 6th edition basically. D&D Next was the 5e playtesting stuff. But anyway, I know when they released some stuff about druids and they were changing how druids worked. And I was like, you know what? Hey, I think this is a good decision. I think this is a good option. Make it easy for people. But I feel like some people were really mad because it's like, but I spent all this time learning all the creatures from the monster manual that I can turn into, and now that's totally useless. And I'm like, do you know how many? It's like there's a lot of options in there, and that's going to be intimidating for new players. So yeah, so I'm in favor of saying things like, okay, you know, you have a set number of animal forms you can take. Choose wisely. Sorry. And apparently, also, yeah, the number of hit points you have as in an animal form is going to be dependent on, you know, how big it is. You're not going to be able to just pick the thing with the most hit points. You're going to have to actually look at, you know, what's its challenge rating and how big is it, and go from there. You're going to have to put a little more effort into this than just finding the coolest stuff. I get that. Anyway, also, like there's just as a base druid, you can pick there's a completely different option for your wild shape thing. Let's see. Choose a single primordial spell slot to recover. Okay, yeah, so this is a recover a spell slot. Recover spell slot equal or less your proficiency bonus. Okay, regain a spent spell slot by using a wild shape. Let's see. Oof. Okay. So yeah, recover a spell slot a certain number of times between rests. That's nice. I like that they are making spellcasting druids more viable. Yay. Very happy about that. But of course we get to druid subclasses, and of course we still kind of have to go with the 2 classic ones, which is... Okay, let's see. We got the leaf druids. Alright, they have spell list, let's communicate. Okay, so this is leaning more into, sure, you want to be a plant. You want to focus on plant stuff. That's cool. Hey, here's some things you can do. Here's a new wild shape option. You can, see. Use feature vitality surges into the ground in a 10-foot radius centered on you. Normal plants rapidly expand. Magical plants sprout from the ground. Remains magical for 1 minute until you use this feature that causes it to be just causes it to be destroyed, or you fall unconscious. After phase, any non-magical plants remain healthy and overgrown. I don't know. That's kind of neat. That's a neat thing. That's cool. And of course, we have to have the shifting animal beast form, whatever druid that is even bigger and tougher and better at turning into animals than the standard druid. Which, you know, valid. If that's how you want to go with it, and you want to be able to do other stuff, that's fine. But, you know, I'm glad there are... this is not necessarily the default option. Because it does not need to be the default option. Alright, let's see. Fighter. Let's see. Okay. I think Fighter is one of the claim that... So yeah, Fighter was included in the test material, so I'm a little more... So this is actually the... Well, Cleric was too, but, you know, Fighter is a little more easy to wrap your brain around. So yeah, I do think they did away with... Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, there's no more fighting styles, so instead, fighters get to pick a martial action, which is... Admittedly, it's basically a fighting style, but, you know... It's like, okay, sure, we'll give you something that makes you better if you wanted to go range. We have the protect people with the shield. Let's see, bonus action, make 2 attacks with different light melee weapon, and holding in the other hand instead of 1 attack typically granted by two weapon fighting. Wait, what? After you make the attack action on your turn and attack with a light melee weapon that you're holding in one hand, you can use a bonus action to make 2... Oh, make 2 attacks. Okay. That's kind of nice. Wind up, bigger, power, more stuff with big, heavy weapons. Action surge multiple times. I am subclass. That's for multi-attack. Yeah, you gotta... Subclasses. Obviously, we have to have the spellcasting fighter option. Subclass option, because of course we do. Which, you know, reasonable. I'm not going to say it's a bad idea. And yeah, I kind of think it's interesting, at least to me, that they only included 2 fighter subclasses in this, and one of them is not basically the champion fighter, which is like fighter but more, you know, in the same way that life cleric is cleric but more. So yeah, they're going with, yeah, sure, here, you want to be able to do more cool stuff as a fighter. Alright, sure, here's the subclass that'll let you do that. You can do all these cool moves and such. Yes, champion is the fightiest fighter. I believe... yeah, I know in my playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, which I haven't gotten back to in a while, I think I know I multi-classed Karlach, the big demon tiefling demon lady. Tiefling barbarian, rather. I know I multi-classed her into fighter, and I have every intention of making her a champion fighter, because it's like, you know what? Yeah, you're Karlach. You do one thing. You're here to do one thing, and that's great. And I want you to just be the best at that thing that you can be. Again, I am kind of upset that there's only 2 fighter subclasses instead of more. Oh well. Anyway, Mechanist. This is the new one. This is the new class that. I'm sorry, it's taking forever to get through this stuff. Anyway, Mechanist it looks interesting because this is a non-spellcaster, but that has intelligence as their main skill attribute thing. And really, they're not technically spellcasters, but they can do a lot of magic-y stuff. Like, okay, you know, like, okay, again, I haven't really taken a close look at this. Yeah, it is kind of giving off artificer vibes, but it's actually not. But they're not artificers, or they're like maybe more of what the artificer should have been, could have been. I don't know. It's two different takes on the same concept of, you know, the magical craftsman type character, and this one I think is more of like, okay, yeah, you can identify magic items by like holding them. You have a special magic shard of creation thing that you can just kind of turn into different things. Let's see. 2 augments of your choice. That has to be listed later. Bonus action to make use object action. Okay. Yeah, subclass, yeah, but they are a fighting warrior type class. They are not a spellcaster class because they get multi-attack, and that's just weird. You know? It's weird and crazy. Say range. Oh, yeah. But it does seem to be like, as long as you have at least 1 minute to focus or task, make an ability check. Treat any D20 roll of 9 or lower as if it's a 10. Use rapid augment feature on items you can see within 60 feet. No longer need to touch them. Okay. Interesting. Augments. Okay, geez. Yeah. So, yeah, this is the, you know, magical inventor type class. So that's kind of cool. But they're doing it in a way that doesn't include, but they're doing it, they're doing the magic inventor person, but they've completely removed spellcasting from it, which, if nothing else, it's a very interesting choice. Because, oh boy, this is definitely another one of those classes that's like, there's a lot of options here, and oh boy. You affect your augment feature. Place doesn't count it. Absorbing. Empower armor or shield with the ability to absorb. Up. Hey. Okay. Hey. Hey, Xavier. This is Tales of the Valiant, which is this is Kobold Press's response to the whole Wizards OGL debacle thing from last year. If you want a simple comparison, this seems to be to 5th edition what 1st edition Pathfinder was to D&D 3.5, which is like, basically, yeah, it's we're gonna take most of this, and it mostly still works. We're gonna maybe tweak some things, make some adjustments, and yeah, I did a look through the, I think it was like the alpha release, the beta release, whatever, of this stuff when they did their Kickstarter, and a little while ago they finally released the Player's Guide and Monster Vault. And since Dragon Age decided to not want to work for some reason, I decided, okay, you know what, let's take a look through this, because I've been threatening to do that. And yeah, we're kind of flipping through the classes. This is the new Mechanist class, which is, again, it's the same basic idea of the Artificer, where it's like, right, mad magical inventor, but this is the class but this one doesn't include any kind of spell casting. So it's just like, yeah, you can do magic and stuff, or you can make things magical, but you are not actually casting any kind of spells. That's not a thing for this. Though apparently there is a subclass option that lets you do that. Mechanist, they also have I'm assuming the antagonizer. I'm assuming is that supposed to be Artificer? Or is that a reference I'm just not getting? It's possible that's a reference I'm not getting. So, sorry. Anyway, moving on. Oh, it's a reference to Fallout 3. Okay, I did not get far enough in Fallout 3, but I'm going to assume they do not, sadly. I know. Anyway. Good. And we're still going through classes. We haven't even gotten to some of the other stuff. So, right. Monk. Monk is a monk. Monks are monks. They're pretty... I don't believe there's a whole lot of changes. Okay, subclasses. Alright. So, yeah, we have the dark, spooky, shadowy monk, ninja, maybe, kinda, sorta. Because, of course, there's gonna be some guy who wants to play a friggin' ninja in your game. And, then we have the standard, Bruce Lee, Jet Li, whatever, I can kill you with my bare hands monk. Paladins, again, I feel like not a lot of different changes to Paladin, mostly a lot of term shifts like, right, okay, again, martial action instead of fighting style, etc. Various auras, subclasses. Alright, let's see. Yeah. Devotion, obviously. Standard option. At Devotion Paladin, we got the Justice one, which is presumably our, okay. Stripped of concern for honor, piety, or purity, given free rein to oppose evil as they find prudent. Okay. So yeah, this is the Vengeance Paladin. Okay. Burden of Guilt. As a bonus action, call your divine power to curse a single foe you see within 30 feet. For 1 minute, target speed is halved. If flying at the end of its turn, it must succeed on a charisma save or fall to the ground. Dang. Designate a single target within 10 feet as your divine quarry for 1 minute. You have advantage on attack rolls against it. Yeah, okay. This is our Vengeance Paladin. This is our Judge Dredd of Paladin options. Okay. But, we only included 2, which I guess. Okay. Uh, yeah. Justice! Absolutely, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Batman. Kinda. Sure. Alright. Ranger. Okay. So, again, quick look through Ranger stuff. I like that they've swapped out the Okay, okay, Explorer is basically the revised Rangers thing where they are absurdly awesome at being outdoors. But this is maybe toned down just a little bit to be more like, right, you can move around more easily. I like that they've swapped out favorite enemy with, this Mystic Mark thing where it's just like, okay, no, you can pick an enemy. In combat, you can pick an enemy a certain number of times per long rest. You can pick one particular enemy and go like, okay, I'm going to focus on you. You are the one you are the one I am choosing to focus on all my killing energies toward. So, yeah. I like that. I think that's really cool and makes Rangers, it moves them away from the, okay, right, all your powers are kind of from racism thing, undertones, but also, you know, makes them more viable against a wider number of opponents instead of being like, yeah, they're really good against this one type of thing, and against everything else, they're only kind of okay. Blah, blah, blah. And of course, yeah, we have to have the we got the hunter option, which is, we heard you like hunting and killing things, so sure, we're going to make you better at. We hear you like being a ranger, so we put some extra ranger in your ranger. And we have the, hey, you like having animal companions? Here, have a pet option. Okay, and I will say this. Okay, I do like this. Okay. Do they get? Yeah. Okay, you get Beast Spirit at 3rd level. All right. Yeah. I like this. Giving the animal companion whatever a single can set pet be a giant ant. I mean, I suppose so. Mostly, I'm liking that. Okay, cool. We have a single stat block for your animal companion instead of flipping through the damn book to try and to compare different options. Okay, I like that. I like I like simplifying things down like this. Yeah. If we ever do this, I'm gonna run an idea. Oh dear. I mean, I do kind of want to try this out at some point. We'll see. Okay, moving on. Rogue. Yeah, rogues. Rogues are still very much the same. They still work the same. Very much the same. I think. Honestly, I feel like some of the okay. And anyway. Okay, Enforcer is basically the assassin. I don't know. Except, okay, Brawler. Use sneak attack feature against target within 5 feet, even if no other creature inside the target within 5 feet of you. Okay, that's kind of nice. I do kind of wish I want, and I've wanted this for a while. I want a rogue subclass that allows you to get sneak attack without using a finesse weapon. I feel like, you know, that is an idea, that is a premise, like, you know, okay, this is, you know, it's the big burly guy who's there to be muscle, but is also a thief. So I don't know. Anyway, and of course you have the thief, which is still very much the same as always. Sorcerer. Okay. Yeah. I know. I would. Yeah. See, I'd really wanted someone to write that up because I don't. Yeah. Yeah. Sneak Attack Billy Club. Yeah. I mean that kind of admittedly originates in something. Someone in my in-person group mentioned at one point, like, you know, it's kind of weird that like clubs aren't a dex weapon, so you can't like blackjack. So, you know, a rogue can't blackjack somebody in 5th edition, which is like, what's the point? Come on, guys. Anyway, I think it's cool that they've moved the Font of Magic and Sorcery Point stuff for sorcerers down to 1st level, so that now at 1st level sorcerers actually have access to at least some of the cool stuff they can do, even if probably in exchange for, you know, moving the subclass down. Subclass gets moved to 3rd level, so everything else kind of gets bumped down a level between then and there, between levels 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, sure, sorcerers have spell points and can just create more spells and whatnot, spell slots, but and only get access to some of the really fun meta magic stuff at 2nd level, which, I mean, at least you're getting it a little earlier, so that's kind of nice. Yeah, I don't believe it. Other stuff is more or less the same. Okay. So something I do like is that, okay, every, or both, I think both. Yeah, that's pretty gnarly looking right there. Not gonna lie. Let's see. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So at least, yeah, sorcerer subclasses seem to include, at least I assume, yeah, sorcerer origin, subclass, whatever options, all have class spells or subclass spells, which is like, yay, this is good. Why was this not included in base 5th edition? Because this is clearly something that Wizards realized was a mistake, because sorcerers don't get a ton of spells to begin with. Like, yeah, you know a very small number of spells as a sorcerer, so giving you more spells for free through your subclass, really nice. Should have been with the base ones anyway. Okay, right. Chaos, which is kind of wild magic, but also much nastier. Or at least sort of flavor-wise. Let's see. Reduce one or more creatures to 0 hit points or score a critical hit. The chaos within you manifests in a random way. Determine the effect, roll a d6 on the chaos manifestation table. Nice. Become invisible. Threads of magic explode from you, dealing d4 plus proficiency bonus force damage to each creature within 30 feet of you of your choice. +1 to AC. You can move through creatures and objects as though we're difficult terrain for a turn, until your next turn. Oh no. If you end your turn inside a creature object, you take 4d10 force damage and are pushed to the nearest unoccupied space. Ow. Magical darkness pours from you in a 10-foot radius sphere. Teleport to unoccupied space within 60 feet of you that you can see. Okay. That's kind of neat. Again, it's kind of... this is a little more terrifying than the standard wild magic. It's like, oh god. Oh god. Let's see. Volatile magic. Magic court, da-da-da-da. When you cast a spell of first circle or higher, roll a d20 against your volatile save DC. Oh god. They call it a volatile save. That's wonderful. On a failure, the spell's effects happen. The spell becomes volatile, and you must roll your volatile spell effect table to determine additional effects that your spell has. Volatile save DC is 20 minus sorcerer level plus the circle of the spell. You can spend luck as normal, a d20 roll to determine whether your magic is volatile. However, if you make a volatile magic roll while you have 0 luck, roll twice and take the higher result. Oh no! Okay. Oh man. Oh wow. Okay, so like, sorry, I'm doing the math here, and when you get this feature at 3rd level, the save DC will be either potentially the low, well, it will either be like an 18 or a 19. So if that happens, if you roll when you oh wow, you have to, okay, like you're gonna fail every time. You're pretty much guaranteed to fail every time you cast a spell. Something bad's gonna happen. Something weird's gonna happen. Okay. Okay, let's do it. Let's go. Hell yeah. Okay, 7th level. Bonus action. Roll volatile spell effect table and suffer the effects as though target of any effect or a spell. If it's even, you gain a number of sorcery points equal to your proficiency bonus. If result is odd, gain temporary hit points equal to your con score. Or can't use this again until you finish a short 1 rest. Okay. Like, okay, so yeah. Chaos Sorcerer. This is this is like, okay, yeah, hey, you want to be like this horrible bringer of chaos and destruction? Hell yeah. Let's do it. It's just, your hair falls out and takes the vague shape of an animated sword? What? Oh well, at least it defends you until... Okay, that's handy. I'm sorry, I saw animated sword and was like, wait, what? Your hair falls out. What? Yeah, this is great. I love it. Hold on, what's the low one? Roll at the start of each of your turns for the next minute. 3 to 4. And your next turn, a 3rd circle fireball spell detonates centered on you. Oh no. Mischievous and judgmental quasit named Gurknaz appears in an unoccupied space within 30 feet, remains for 1 hour or until slain, and it's controlled by the GM. I love it. Oh, I love this. This is great. Okay. Alright, and Right. The draconic option, yeah, it's, you know, fairly standard. Sorry, I'm just double checking the time. Okay. Uh, excuse me. I do appreciate that they added some more interesting stuff. So yeah, you can pick. Obviously, yeah, you pick your dragon type, and that will determine a number of things, but also determines here's some other spells you get. And we have 2 new types of dragon as well: the Void Dragon and the Yellow Dragon. The Void Dragons are scary. Anyway, moving on. Warlock, and yes, you can actually. Kobold is actually is actually an option in the player's guide. It's lovely. It's nice. Okay. So I kind of like. Okay, I have some mixed feelings about basically turning the warlock into a half caster, because like they were already kind of there. They were already like halfway through, 3/4 of the way to being a half caster in 5th edition. But I don't like that they didn't. They did not boost the hit die, which I feel like that's okay. So they're a half caster, but they still don't have the kind of hit points that other half casters get. Okay. I do like that they now get proficiency with medium armor and shields, just guaranteed. Because, like, yeah. Even if they only get simple weapons, it's like, whatever. Smart move, making Eldritch Blast just a class feature as opposed to a cantrip or spell they have to take, because let's be real here. So much of this game, so much stuff relies on Eldritch Blast. Just make it a class feature. It fixes so much. I like that they moved the again, since all the subclass decisions are now at level 3 instead of level 1. So we basically swapped out warlocks picking their subclass instead, or their patron, and now it has been swapped with the packed boon. So, hey, if you do want to play that, if you do want to have magic weapon, special, familiar, tome of dangerous evil knowledge, you can just start out with that as opposed to getting it later on. Yada yada yada. Invocations, those are what they are. As I mentioned this earlier, warlocks get their own special spell list, unlike like everybody else's spell list is like, the arcane and primordial and divine. Warlocks are the only ones with the weird spell list, and I think that's great. Pack spells, pack magic, yada yada yada. Okay. Enhanced boon, nice. So that's cool. So blade locks can actually become sort of more viable combatants. That's cool. Anyway, we have the invocations, of course, of the multiple invocations, all that stuff. All seems fairly familiar. Huh. Okay. Okay, and Right, okay, so Mystic Arcanum is now a Eldritch Invocation as opposed to a thing, as opposed to a class feature. That's kind of, well, maybe. I can see that, I can see that being a valid option. And because, how many times do you actually get up to this level? These levels, letting people pick, like, some of this stuff, etc., etc. Anyway, subclasses. Okay, of course, we have Fiend, Pact, to Standard. Oh. Okay. You gain spells at Warlock levels listed in the spell table. Okay, that's nice. So now Warlocks actually get more spell. Actually just get these spells as opposed to having them on the list. That's nice. That's actually really nice. Yeah, okay, and Fiend... Okay, I like that they kind of made Dark One's Blessing a little more handy, probably because you're getting it at 3rd level instead of 1st level, so now it's... when you reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, or one within 30 feet of you is reduced to 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points equal to proficiency bonus plus Warlock level. That's nice. Probably fewer proficiency, or fewer temporary hit points. The curve is probably a little shallower, but, Actually, no, it might actually be a little steeper, because your proficiency bonus does change, whereas I think your charisma bonus, whatever, generally probably not. And the Reaper, which is an interesting option. So this is, this looks to be more of the... Not quite Necromancer, but kind of. There's definitely an undead nastiness to this. Anyway, last class, the Wizard. Let me see. I think. Yeah, everybody gets. Yeah, Arcane Wizard probably hasn't changed a ton. I think. Okay. Okay. Yeah. 2nd level gets Magic Sense, so now all wizards can kind of detect magic. For free. They don't have to spend a spell to detect magic, which that's kind of handy. And getting into classes, so they kind of boiled them down to like 2, which again is kind of, I get it, but still. And so that's so we have Battle Mage, which is, hey, wow, you get it kind of has the Abjuration Wizard, 5e Abjuration Wizard shield, magic shield kind of thing. Being able to pick talents from the martial list as well as the magic list, that's handy. Or, well, that's potentially handy. It's nice. Means you can... Now you can... Your wizard can actually get armor proficiency. That's useful. Whereas the Cantrip Adept, which is... Here. Even more spell casting. Arcane cantrip that is cast time in one action. You can change casting time to bonus action. Use this number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Maybe. Learn more cantrips, etc., etc. Okay. So, yeah, I've been going over this for an hour and a half now. So, yeah, I think I'm going to call it there. Might come back and finish this up next week, because there's plenty of lineage and heritage stuff. That's definitely some interesting stuff there. Just going through the other things for what it is to create a character, some of the basics and how this works. How Tales of the Valiant differs from D&D 5th edition, and, how it differs, but also how it's the same, and, just things. Again, there's a lot I really like about this, and we haven't necessarily gotten into some of the mechanics yet, which is where things get more interesting. Like, they removed luck, or they removed inspiration and replaced it with luck, which is... It's different, but it's also a lot easier to understand and a lot easier to... there's more ways to gain it, and it's maybe not quite as powerful, but I don't know. There's more things to do with it. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. We might do that next week, I guess. Next Friday, just to... Because I hate to leave it on a... halfway through like that. That we're at, and, who knows if Dragon Age will be cooperating by then. I don't know. It'll give times. Yeah, I do want to get back to Dragon Age. I do hope it will be working again. If not next week, then the week after. I don't know what was up with it, because I'm really gonna be miffed if something's wrong and I can't get it to work. Oh well. Anyway, I hope. Thanks, Xavier and Valerie, for showing up and chatting and keeping me company as we do something a little different. Hope you enjoyed it. Xavier, clearly you're interested in this, so we might try it out. Yeah. Laundry is important. So Valerie, I hope, I don't know, maybe other people watching this, I don't know if you've been... People watching this on YouTube, I don't know if you are interested in, have been seeing some stuff about Tales of the Valiant, I don't know, maybe this encouraged you to check it out for yourself. Who knows. But, anyway, this is going to be it for me for tonight. I'm Librarian Writer Geek on YouTube and Twitch. Here's our website where I post some stuff every other week. And here is my Blue Sky account, which is, again, the only social media I'm actually active on. Alright. So, until next time, good night, and have a good one. Bye.